Welcome to the Rainbow Gateway Oracle. Hello, Virgo. This is for Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, any Virgo placement really, 6th house, a lot of 6th house energy, or heavily aspected Mercury, Chiron. You know Virgo. Here we go. This is the Mad Hatter, the magical Mad Hatter reading for you today. And we're starting off with the Creativity Oracle. It's fun making bringing all the decks together and finding out what they want to call the moment that they meet. Like, what do you call that moment when everything meets together? And I'm getting a culinary reference, you know, when all the ingredients come together and they synergize. Is that the right word? The fusion of ingredients together, the conglomerate of things, the gathering, the tea party of life, bringing everything together and admiring and like relishing in the absurdity of life. What do we have here? We have the capable. There's an energy here of waiting for something. Like waiting for the bus. Like maybe you don't have a ride, you don't have a car. You're constantly waiting around for something. And maybe you don't realize that you have another option for transportation. But, you know, or there may be something coming up that is going to, you're going to get a different kind of ride than you're expecting coming up here. It can be actual transportation issues, or this can just be talking about, you know, like a ride in like school, or, you know, in your career, like someone who helps you get a boost. Someone who works hard but is you know, sort of independent. They have mobility and freedom in the situation. This could be somebody that you're about to meet. Sacred inner space, sacral chakra, tenderness, sensuality. Kundalini rising. Order of Melchizedek. Embraced by light, mission uncovered, don't give up. Let's see what that's all about. We got the dream decoder coming out. There's an opening occurring, I feel like. And then there's a bit of a challenge, if you will. There's like a smoky mirror coming through. So I feel like I feel like there's an opening in the intimacy sphere within you, or there's going to be, or this is what this experience in life is teaching you, that there's like, or it's like opening up and healing within you. Feeling trapped. Yeah, there's always waiting, not being able to go anywhere that you want to go. There's a sense of, you know, feeling too vulnerable, and there is a healing here of this woundedness, this vulnerable sense of self. You know, vulnerability often triggers fear in people. When they feel vulnerable, they're just triggered with fear instead. And it's not a comfortable place to be in. But actually, when you learn to open up and, like, you know, be kind of open, there is a sense of vulnerability here. Like, you know, what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? I'm waiting. I don't know. But even this is talking to me about a progression here. Like, maybe like this is where you're coming from in yourself. And then you learned, it's almost like an opening. I'm getting an energy of an opening of like a flower. Like, this is like a real tight bud on a tree, like a fruit tree or a flowering tree or whatever it is. It's like a real tight bud. And then it's like this, there's this opening, because this imagery to me feels like open and vulnerable, where this is closed off. And then there's this other elevation here with the horse, like this, this emergence, if you will. There's like an emergence, and the energy is like really shifting here. I feel like there is a sense of wanting to really rushing forward. And here's this next card too. It's like there's just been a lot of real sense of being wide open and exposed. But within that sense of exposure, there's been a lot of blocks, which have potentially turned off the creative flow in your life. But that is changing here. But I'm getting here that the universe is coming in. There's a sense of opening in the sacral chakra, which it's helping this this fear to be cleared away. But then there's also going to be this setup. So, you know, you're going to feel this real creative surge. It could be sexual energy too. You could end up having like a real sexy encounter here too with this kind of opening here. Kundalini is really popping, coming through. But then it's like you're coming up on another lesson from the universe. So you see what you have to do. And then, you know, you want to stay focused, okay? And you don't want to get too caught up in like the unseen, the things that you can't see that might cause you to wobble, is what I'm getting. You don't want to wobble within, you know, that like shaky ground between, you know, when your mind starts to, you know, go a little bit crazy. You can stay more focused in the center instead of getting wrapped up in the illusions in your mind. We have halls of learning and the chamber of the violet flame. Great lessons, spirit guides, confirmation. Yeah, it's like there's this big life lesson here, and you have to understand, like, it's easy to get kind of caught up in the haze of it, the emotions and stuff, but it's all part of the show. It's all part of the purification process of healing fear in your mind and things like this. This You know, and this is the thing, is like, this process can feel maddening at times. And there's a lot of defenses and barriers that we have to break through in order to allow our tender, loving, sensitive self to be seen without fear, without having to contract, without having to shrink ourselves or be different in order to be loved and accepted and stuff like that too. There's a real sense of like self-acceptance here too coming through. And you had to work hard to really get there. 8 of Cups. Yeah, you had to leave shit behind that wasn't emotionally fulfilling. Things that you were attached to, you had to definitely, like, you may still be working through some of that attachment stuff. And, you know, don't worry about it. It's just like, it's just real sticky, and you have to do every strand at a time. Sometimes you get chunks of strands all at once, and sometimes, you know, there's a few that are extra sticky. And, you know, you just have to, like, you have to see above. You have to see a higher perspective. You have to realize that you're seeing a higher perspective than what you're walking away from. And they can't really meet you where you are. And it's not that you can't meet them where they are, but they can't meet you where you are. And so there's like, it's emotionally unfulfilling, and it's essentially unavailable to you because they can't really see you. Four of Swords. Yeah, needing to take a rest, allowing yourself to take a rest. You don't have to rush to get through anything. Just take your time. Take your time always. Don't give up. You can take a break. That's what this message is. Take a break. And there's a lot of purple energy here, like really, you know, doing practices that open up your crown chakra, whatever those are, whether it's yoga poses, you know, geared toward that, or qigong, or, you know, whatever opens you up in that way. I know that when I go for walks and stuff, like my channeling comes through really clearly when I'm out just on a walk and stuff like that. Everyone's different. Ace of Swords, hummingbird energy, like acorns. I'm like, it's like acorns of knowledge. It's like you're getting a lot of higher truth handed to you. So you have to recognize too that abundance comes as wisdom and knowledge too, and not just money. Seeing the value in the lessons in life that you're given on your path. It keeps you in a high vibration. It keeps you moving in special ways, you know. Nothing, I mean, the hummingbird, it's like nothing really moves or flies like the hummingbird does. It's really unique in the way that it exists and moves through time and space. And it just moves at a higher frequency. The Green Man, rising, energy surge, fertility. Let's see what else comes out here. Healing the earth, love, humility, respect. There's an energy, like, okay, so you're saying goodbye to the summer. Winter is going to be a time for you where you have a lot of energy and I feel like you're very contained. You're going to be very contained this winter, but you're going to be in a content state of mind and heart and everything like that. Putting plants in your house is crucial for your experience in life. Like, you need to have that. It's really important that you put that in your life, plants in your house. Some kind of green for you in the winter. This is what I'm getting. You really need to set yourself up for success this winter. You know, having like solar lamps and, you know, making the inside of your house kind of tropical and stuff like that, because you might be somebody who is affected by seasonal affective disorder. You know, it's really going to make a difference in your life if you do that. And it's going to help maintain your mental purification. It's really imperative that you do that. And that's going to really like jazz up your creative potential. Like, you know, you see how there's like this dark energy in the background and how light this is? Like, without the plants, without the, you know, the setup for the winter, it's all going to be more of this dark energy around you. So that's the thing. Like, do yourself a favor and allow yourself to succeed, okay? And you're going to feel a lot better about things in life. And if you take things a little bit slower and don't worry about it, because your purpose is different than most people. And, you know, it's coming through a lot differently for you than... You know, don't compare yourself to others is what I'm getting here. Yeah, they're still working through a lot of shadows from the childhood upbringing, the trauma. You have to essentially, it's like, again, it's like this progression. You have to release that darkness. We have the shopping. This might just be for someone, but getting a pet, going to the pet store, something about the pet store, shopping for a pet, getting an animal. Donating to animal places, like animal... like shelters. Maybe you're someone who likes to do that kind of thing, or that's like, you know, maybe That'll feel good for you to do that if that's for you. That's not for everybody, but I'm also getting to like get the stuff that you need and don't worry about what everyone else is needing too. Focus on what you need, not what everyone, because everyone else has different needs than you. You need to focus on what you need and not what all these other people need. And you're not going to all need the same stuff. So you have to pay attention to what it is you need, not what they need. They have very unique needs, and so do you. It's not all the same. They're focused on what they need, not on what you need. So when you default to what they're doing, because you want to shrink back in life and not take up space, that's what you don't want to do. That's the thing. You got to let that go. You're allowed to take up space. You're allowed to get what you need. Put what you need in the cart. Yeah, that's your test. You know, you got to put what you need in the cart and not worried about what everyone else is having to say. Don't let anyone tell you you should put it back because you don't need it, you know. They don't know what you need. Okay? And, you know, that can be this whole situation with the plants too, you know. Maybe someone is opposed to you doing that in your living space. The Mother awakens. Compassion, nurture, guidance. There's a real nourishing, nurturing vibe here. That's sort of the realm of energy that you're in. Once you've, you know, sort of opened this, once you've opened this doorway, we have the Star. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. It's a real pleasure to do a reading for you today. I love you so much. And what you're telling me is that I'm winning after I dealt with my childhood wounds. And then I can find a different understanding in life because I'm not living a life in a false reality. This is what is needed to be said right now in this time. The Star is the winner. The Star is the winner. The Star is the winner. You have woken up in time to see that you dream. You dream and you dream and you dream. And that's all you ever do is dream. Now you know. You know that you dream. What kind of dream What kind of dream? What kind of dream is me? Sometimes the channel is distorted. It's important to recognize when the channel is distorted and when the channel is not distorted. There are times when you are given lessons in order to determine between distorted and undistorted. And the stronger you get in recognizing that it's a distorted message versus a clear message, the higher your learning goes. And sifting through the ash, so to speak, is what a lot of starseeds, light workers, empaths and so forth are dealing with right now. Sifting through the ash and looking for the remnants of the treasures that they came with, because many have been annihilated on their spiritual journeys, but have become so empowered that they cannot be touched by any such dark forces, though they tango with them quite frequently. Quite frequently, light workers dance with the shadow. However, they don't get bogged down in it, and they don't have any sort of attachment to it at this point of time. And that's why it's not really any problem ever, but the mind likes to make everything into a problem. Stop making problems out of things, and you find that life is pretty amazing. But the mind is always like, oh, blah, blah, this, and blah, blah, that, and blah, blah, blah. You have to start recognizing that, when you're sitting there and the fly keeps landing on you, and you get pissed off all the time because you're like, God damn, this fly is driving me fucking nuts, and you can't let it go. There's a reason that fly is talking to you, but you don't get the message. That fly is coming over there to talk to you about the thoughts in your head that you're not paying attention to. The thoughts in your head that are kind of like a fly, that are just, buzzing around and annoying you. But as awareness, you start grasping. You start grasping onto these little buzzing thoughts in your mind. And before you know it, they're like looming over you. And, this is what these kind of thoughts do in your head. They sort of like loom over you. They cause you to contract and go inward and get afraid. Your adrenaline's pumping and shit like that. And you have to understand that you have control over those thoughts, and you don't have to listen to those thoughts. And those thoughts aren't you. They're not you at all. But you recognize that it's not you. But sometimes you get trapped in the smoky mirror. You get caught up at the gate. But you know that you can just surrender and relax. And then you don't have to deal with the circus of things. You can just relax and let everything be. You can just become one with the chaos and not try to control it. And that's the thing. It's like this energy of trying to swim the wrong way. You can't do it. You don't want to go that way anyway. Just let go and flow. And this is what this message is trying to say here, is that there is a need for order, but you have to be malleable within the chaos. It's like not cutting it down, but molding with it. You know what I'm saying? There's pause, except that you must wait and prepare for developments to reach the next stage. This is waiting again. But, you know, you can find harmony while you're waiting, and even though you might be ready to like take action and go, it's okay. Just allow the transformation to happen. And then look at the little things. Look at the beauty around you when you can. You know, go hiking if you can. And you might have some like hikes around you. Communication. The clarity, interactivity, and timing of communications is critical. You've learned to communicate with your inner self, and because of that, you can communicate, like being able to communicate what makes you feel vulnerable, being able to communicate about, you know, the way you're thinking in your mind, so people can, you know, help you find better clarity too, is it's not always easy to express your vulnerabilities to people. But I feel like that's the thing that you've learned to do, or you're in the process of learning to do, like, you know, not abandoning yourself emotionally, because you need to be able to express your feelings to people, and there's underlying trauma here that is being worked through, but it's like there's still a bit of the essence of, we have this giraffe energy, like not everybody can see your perspective, and not everybody's dealing with that kind of emotional stuff either. You know, it's like people who are healing emotionally are pioneers in this lifetime, because it's like that's not the thing to be doing. You know, for some people it is. I mean, I would recommend it, but you know what I mean? It's not necessarily a popular thing. You got to go against the grain for it. You have to see things differently, and you have to leave people behind. You know, you can feel like a lone wolf at times, you know, but every now and then you find people who can see your same perspective. But a lot of the times you're all on your own here, and that sucks at times. And I'm like, that's what I'm getting here. But, you know, being able to communicate that and communicate your you know, the more open you are with yourself, the more, you know, open you can become in order to make this communication. It's like you haven't been able to communicate this, and like now you're going to be able to communicate this. Like in the past you weren't able to communicate this, and then it became a problem because essentially you're emotionally abandoning yourself, but you can't help that. You couldn't communicate it, and that's the process that happened. And, you know, so it's like you die to yourself, but you leave, and then you come and you transform, and then you move through into higher, you know, higher vibration, higher mentality, higher understanding, higher truth of yourself. But it's kind of like through this process of like, you know, having to leave things behind. And because people can't see where you're at. People can't see where you're at. You have to leave the village behind sometimes, and that's really hard to do in life. You know, and you have to swim. You have to become the fish and like just swim in the ocean and find your way from there. And, you know, it's like just floundering in the ocean of life can be, you know, really challenging. And, that's just kind of what I'm getting here. There's been a lot of real, you know, catastrophic yet transformative experiences in life. Seed. Having the intention to grow like a seed and bloom is at the heart of creativity. So it's like all of this process is giving you seeds in order to move forward in life. And that's the thing you want to remain focused on, is the seeds that you have. Like, there's the seed, like the star seed. You are a star seed. And that's like all of the things, all of the, you know, the emotional abandonment, all the vulnerability, all of the emotional pain, all that shit. It's like every time you go through one of these experiences and you open something up and you triumph and you learn how to resolve that energy, you get another seed. And those seeds you take forward with you and you just keep planting in your life. And then you start to run into more of the people who have the same, perspective and understanding as you. But it's real lonely for a while. And I'm getting like, it's like you're in the jungle with people who don't necessarily have the same understanding as you. And it doesn't mean that you can't be friends or that you don't like each other, but there's a little bit of a lack of understanding to some degree because, the elephant doesn't know what it's like to be the dog, because it's a completely different experience. So it's like you can't fathom what that's like for the other human being or the other species or whatever like that. And you might feel even like, like people to you are like completely different species almost, because of they're at such a different level of consciousness. They're having such a different life experience. Like you really can't account for what they would need or, how that translates. So, but this is, like the deeper lesson here that's like, part of the whole alchemical process of the universe that goes way beyond what your finite mind is really understanding. And, I'm getting this crown chakra energy again here with this, like, just like the cosmic intelligence coming through. And it's like you're bringing in fragments of these higher wisdoms and knowledge that, you're transmitting through frequencies that you're not, hyper aware of or, even paying any attention to. But that's the seeds that you're pulling in from that and redistributing too. And there is an element of wanting to bring that to the other village, like the other, like to the other side. Break on through to the other side, you guys. All right, well, that's your Mad Hatter reading, Virgo. Thank you. This is the Rainbow Gateway Oracle. We are going to be doing some romance things on our extended readings coming up, and I'm really excited about that. And we're going to continue our cosmic messages. Stay tuned until next time. Thanks for being here.